Is this normal? I mean, I'll admit that I'm a U.S. Army guy, Army human intelligence guy from a long time ago, but I don't seem to remember any time in recent history where we have seen so many sailors decide to just randomly go for a swim and go over the rail and disappear with nobody having any clue where they are. Apparently they've searched this entire ship. I hope they checked the engine room a couple of times, because apparently that's a black hole where other sailors have found the ability to hide from massive searches for 7 days and then magically reappear. But it just adds another, piece to the mystery of what is going on in the 7th Fleet. What's going on over there is very strange, for lack of any other better term. And some folks have come to the channel at this point now. We're 6 weeks out, and we have explored a lot of different theories of what may have happened. And some have said, why can't you just buy the story? Why can't you just buy the story? Well, because it strains credulity, in the sense that even more so than my assertions about EMP mines or anti-ship missiles or anything like that. And I'm not the only one who's agreed with that. I mean, you can't just magically have, the thousands and thousands of views without people saying, yeah, you know something, I was thinking that too, and I was thinking that too. So I just wanted to show you guys something that shows you that we're not alone in this. Now, this came out a few days ago, and the person who wrote this is, I'm going to show you just so you know I'm not kidding. Here's the author. Matthew Harper, Commander, U.S. Navy, retired, was a surface warfare officer who served on 3 DDG-51 class destroyers, the Cole, the Schaup, and the XO, and he was the XO on the Curtis Wilbur, a sister ship. 3 days of damage control on the Cole, Masters in Public Administration from Harvard. This is not a dumb guy. Okay, this guy knows of what he speaks. And he has only been able to narrow it down to 5 different possible scenarios, all of which he has problems with, meaning that the story as it sets for him doesn't pass muster. And this guy's been on 3 different ships. He was the XO of one of them, this exact ship. And hearing the story, he's like, I don't know how this could possibly happen, but here's one of 5 ways it could have possibly happened. And when you read through this, and I won't bore you, it's maritimeexecutive.com/editorials/a possible scenario for the USS Fitzgerald collision. You read through these scenarios, and there's a whole bunch of a litany of things that all have to fall apart all at the same time for this to be an accident, that he even says this is just not likely. There's just no way that he could see any of these things happening in reality. So this guy who was in the Navy, who knows what he's talking about, is just as confused as the rest of us. The difference is this channel has just decided to, I should say that I have decided to not take the Admiral at his word that he's being forthright with us, because part of my job, what I did, I may not know Navy ships, and I, may not know naval procedures or anything like that, but I do know when people are lying. That was my job. That's what I did. And he is constructing a narrative, Admiral Lecoyne speaking of. When he came out with that press conference and he put out all of that inexplicable, unnecessary information about the captain being asleep and in his quarters, didn't need to say that. Nobody was even asking that. He could say, yes, the man was injured during this collision event, and he and 2 other sailors are being airlifted as we speak, and as we get updates on his condition, we'll let you know. That's all he had to say. When he said that there was damage below the waterline, he didn't have to say what was behind the, the bulkhead there, or the outside of the ship. He didn't have to say it was, 2 berthing areas and a, auxiliary machine room. He just said there was flooding that affected the electronics of the ship. But when you try to construct a scenario and you try to get people to think something that isn't what the truth is, you put in these details. See, the best lies are the simple ones. And this man has tried to construct an elaborate one that he thought most people wouldn't think about. So that's what this channel has really been about. And in case anybody wants to say something about all of the high-tech stuff, it's like, well, but you're talking about lasers and these fantastic minds. You know, it's not some giant leap. These things have been being talked about over there for years and years. These electronic warfare drones that can completely knock out a ship. I mean, there was an entire ship in the Black Sea, a destroyer just like this, that got completely blanked by just one or two passes from a, I think it was someone helping out MiG-29 or MiG-34, something like that. And then we have this. You know, we've made this allegation about these super silent submarines. You know, and this is from 2015. These ships here, and in this particular article, I found something really interesting. And go down here. It's kind of a long one. This is rbth.com/blogs 2015-624, why Russian submarines are making waves. If you go down here to domino effect, it says Vietnam has quietly got itself an insurance policy in talking about the submarine race in Asia to have the best fleet of submarines. Hanoi signed a $3.2 billion deal that includes 6 Kilo-class submarines and the construction of a submarine facility at Cam Ranh Bay. The last of the boats is scheduled for delivery by 2016. Up to 50 mines may be carried as an alternative to torpedoes and missiles, an important area denial capability, says a report by the U.S. Navy Institute. Now, like I said, this is an article from 2015, and they felt, you know, in this one little paragraph, it was important to point out that the Vietnamese have just received these 6 super silent submarines that now have the ability to deploy mines. So these things aren't make-believe. These laser systems and the mines, and that U.S. Navy destroyers are in the crosshairs over there by a lot of different people for a lot of different reasons. I mean, the North Koreans are number 1 on the list. Chinese are number 2. But they have all sorts of minor players over there. Singapore, Bangladesh, Malaysia, the Philippines. You know, it's a very strange situation over there with different groups vying for different power for different reasons. And to take an opportunity like this, if the Fitz had been this, you know, been the target of one of these attacks, and this is what had happened, you know, we might have seen 2 completely unrelated things. We might have seen, you know, that the Fitz had been disabled, you know, completely irrespective of the cargo ship, and the cargo ship just happened upon her. Or, you know, there's this story that the cargo ship captain said that he was running parallel behind and off her starboard rear quarter for a long time, running in the same direction. So he would have had a perfect opportunity to witness any kind of an event like that. If he was 2 miles behind and off the starboard, and let's say one of these attacks would have taken place from either a submarine or from a plane, and he watched this ship get disabled. You know, if these guys, you know, they're all from the Philippines, you know, maybe it was a target of opportunity. If they had seen something like this happen, they said, you know, wow, that's interesting. Maybe we just make a quick left-hand turn and we put this thing on the bottom. I know that strains credulity, but the commander in his 5 scenarios, every single one of his strains credulity. That's what makes this whole situation so unbelievable. When all possible scenarios are unreasonable, they're all equal. So that's why the channel is going to continue to go and continue to study this, and things that don't match we're going to throw out, and things that do, no matter how crazy, we're going to consider. So I really appreciate you guys sticking with us. I think we're going to get to the bottom of this eventually, but the way things are heating up over there, there might be other issues that come to the forefront that may eventually explain why all this happened. So like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. We'll see you next time.